On the one hand, it shouldn't seem to be much of a big deal to get back to $410 a share, given that the sales and profits today are more than double what they were the last time that Tesla traded at $410. However, if you follow this channel, you know that I believe that every stock is subject to multiple narratives, not just one narrative, not just the Tesla narrative, at least two, maybe three. So, what will it take to get back to $410? Here's my list. This is Randy Kirk. Please help out the channel in so many ways. Help it by hitting like right now. Don't even wait. Hit it right now. Only about 30% of the 10% of the people ever hit like. Hit like, help me out. Hit subscribe, hit notify. I don't know why you haven't already done it. And then, of course, support me on Patreon, where I'm doing the news now every day. 3-4 news stories every single day, the top news stories. As I find them, I'm going to throw them up on Patreon. That should be worth $5 a month to you, I think. So try it out. You get a trial, a 7-day free trial. And of course, you get free gifts at the same time. Talk about that later. Okay. So my list of 4 items here that need to happen through the end of January in order to get back to 410 by the end of January does not include solving FSD and does not include a reveal on Optimus. If those 2 things happen, actually, I'll talk about that at the end. We'll talk about at the very end. I'll tell you what I think happens when one or both of those things actually do take place. All right. So what do we need? Okay. Number 1, probably the most important ingredient to hitting 410 has nothing at all to do with Tesla and what they do and how well they do and what their fundamentals are and how their future looks. No, I think that the number 1 thing is going to be the market macro, which depends on the economic macro. And those both have narratives associated with them, right? So what's the economy going to do? Are we going to continue to fumble along at around 2% growth, which the Fed loves? Are we going to continue to have inflation going forward far into the future? Are bonds going to continue to be at 5.5%? Well, those kinds of things then affect the narrative of the stock market itself. And the narrative of the stock market would be, oh, well, doom and gloom, no risk taking, or man, this is a great time to take risks. I mean, all these kind of things, these 2 narratives are going to determine the overall inclination for people to put money into equities, which therefore affects Tesla, the number 1 most traded retail stock in the world. So all that's going to have a big deal. So if the 10-year bonds are still yielding 5.5%, not still, but continue up and they're at 5.5 in January, or if the Fed is hawkish, if inflation is having a resurgence, or if we're looking like we're going into a recession or into stagflation, all bets are off. There's not a chance it'll get back to 410 in January without Optimus or FSD. Now, my personal belief, you've probably heard me state this before, but maybe not the same way. I actually believe we're going to be in really good shape in January. And I think that inflation will be more than cured. You've heard me say that. I think we could be headed towards deflation, okay? Maybe even in deflation by the end of the year. And that's just not me saying it. Costco said it the other day. They said they're cutting prices and they see a risk of deflation. Other people, of course, are agreeing with me as well. I think bonds will be under 4% yields. I think that the Fed will be ready to cut if they haven't already cut by the end of January. All of this will be really, really super. The economy will be doing at least that 2%. Maybe it'll be starting to show some evidence that it's going to grow even more. But this is all going to be because of why? Because of the productivity rebound that nobody talks about. It will continue to gain strength as things level out that were completely whack a year ago. And I've done a whole video. I've talked about this 3 or 4 times. Probably should do another video on the importance of how productivity did affect the economy the last 2 years and how now that productivity will go up like this, already is going up like this. I mean, like a rocket, how that productivity affects prices going down. You have productivity going up, then costs go down. When costs go down, people compete because their costs have gone down. They can compete more rigorously, and so prices go down. This is good deflation, not bad deflation. This is the kind of deflation we want to see happening. Yes, there will also be some deflation because of technology. This is the kind that Cathie Wood's always talking about. So the GPT phenomena, even the Tesla phenomena, but all kinds of other technology that's coming on board right now is going to affect this deflationary trend. So I think that's a good estimate of where things will be at that point. So markets will be in good shape. They will finish the year up. It is very traditional for this type of year for the market to do well in the fourth quarter after doing so horribly in September and after a good January. There's all these, some of it is kind of, nonsense, but history is a good guide. So it looks like the market will be up the rest of the year, and that will carry over into January as the economy continues to look well and as the Fed is starting to look at lowering rates. That is a very bullish way to see January, but that's how I see it. Okay, now number 2, in order to get to 410, Tesla has to move 500,000 plus cars. They need to make over 500,000 and they need to ship over 500,000. I don't think this is going to be an issue. Pretty much every Tesla, Gary Black, and others are all saying that they're going to do, these are not the super bulls like me, are all saying it will be 500,000 plus. So that gives the company a run rate already at the end of 2024 of 2 million per year, which makes that statement by one pundit the other day that they're only going to do 2.1 million in 2024 look like nonsense. And of course, I think it looks like nonsense. I think they'll do 2.5 or maybe more, depending on the economy, depending on all kinds of things, how fast they can ramp the Cybertruck, etc. But the 2.1 million, that's nonsense. 2.3 is what the street thinks it's going to be. So, of course, if they're now at a run rate of over 2 million and they're beginning to look like the 2.5 is the real number, then all of the analysts are going to have to increase their total sales number and therefore increase their total earnings number. And that'll be part of the reason that the stock goes back to 410. And probably pass through that quite easily. Number 3, they need a decent uptick in the energy sales and profits. Doesn't have to be huge, just has to be noticeable, along with separating out. I'm hoping they're going to do that in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, like they promised, so that we see the energy number and we can begin to see it going up towards that aspirational 25%. Now, there's a lot of folks that think it's going to be way higher than 25%. But I'm happy with 25%, aren't you? So if it's over 20% and it's headed towards 25, that would be number 2. The thing I'd like to see is that those sales continuing up at a very nice curve, and the margins of the energy division the energy storage division by itself now passing that 20% level, headed towards 25. A little helper would be if Shanghai is actually getting ready to produce or is producing at the end of January. We don't know if they've even started building that facility yet, because remember what happened in Lathrop. It was like built before anybody knew about it. I was the one that broke the news practically with the Elon Musk mission. Nobody was talking about Lathrop until the mission came out. In fact, that was one of my big deals. I was trying to get it out before people started talking about Lathrop, because I knew I had a breaking issue with regard to that for the book. Anyway, let's see. That would be good if Shanghai is coming along. Number 4, at least good news about Gigamex, Giga Nevada, and 4680s. There's already some negative sentiment, some negative narrative around the slow ramp of 4680s. We need to turn that around. We need 4680s to become good news, not negative, not like news, okay? Gigamex, same thing. It's supposed to open like that. Apparently the water issues were the big problem that nobody anticipated, and now those have apparently been solved. We'll see, but we'd like to see Gigamex groundbreaking. We'd like to see 4680s with all 4, I think it's 4 lines or 5 lines, I forget now. Where's Larry? Where's Brian White when I need him? Anyway, all of those lines producing, even if it's a low level, but that they're moving towards, one of them is now maxed out, and the other 2 or 3 or 4 are all going and heading towards being maxed out. Maybe Berlin is finally making some 4680s. All of those things, anything that we can get that's positive on 4680s is going to help. And then Giga Nevada, we need the groundbreaking there. Again, reporting earlier today, Looks like we're very close to that groundbreaking. I'm saying it'll be before the end of the year. That all those things, we need those issues to be on the positive side if we really want to make sure we get to 410 by the end of January. So I know I'm putting a lot of caveats and a lot of restrictions on my estimate here, but I believe that these are the things that will be necessary, because last time it was a runaway train and it was way off of its skis or out in front of its skis or falling. Something like that. All right. What if we do have an Optimus reveal? As far as I'm concerned, everything else that Tesla is doing or has any plans to do, has on their plate at all, everything pales compared to Optimus. Now, I'm not alone in saying that. Elon says that. So I'm just going off. No, I believe he's right. So what has to happen? Indisputable evidence of Optimus doing useful work, preferably in an actual actual factory setting, multiple, not one. I need 20, 30 Optimus bots walking around, poking things here, picking things up, putting things down, and working on a regular basis. That these are making sure that everybody in the world knows, anybody that's paying attention knows, these guys are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're doing real work, and it's really replacing labor, and it's got a value that you can place on it, et cetera. It'd be nice if maybe some of these would be outside of Tesla factories, maybe in some of their supplier factories, or maybe they would have 3 or 4 or 5 use cases that are not even related to Tesla. A bike shop, assembling new bicycles that are coming in boxes, and they're undoing the boxes, taking the bicycles out and putting them together. I mean, something. I've talked about print shop, having them in a print shop, putting T-shirts on a silkscreen printing machine. Anyways, some kind of things like that where we can see that the bot is really doing super useful stuff. All right, if that happens, that and a price, like the rental price or the sell price or whatever it's going to be, and some evidence of when they're going to start shipping to customers, and some idea of what they think maybe the 2024 total sales units would be, or rental units would be. Those things, and they don't really matter too much what they are. I mean, if they say it's only $20,000 a year to rent it, no, that would be bad. But if it's anywhere close to my number, like $50,000 a year to rent, or $100,000 or $200,000 to buy, then that's what we need to hear. We need to hear that it's at least tens and tens of thousands of units sold in 2024. If all those things happen, you're going to have the stock jump $200 a share, maybe more. It won't happen like overnight because it'll take people a minute to get used to it. But yeah, in a very short order, you'll see the stock rise a ton. Okay, now what about FSD? Well, we got the same situation, second verse. We need either Elon Musk to drive it across the country while he's playing video games in the back with a video on him playing the video games and nobody in the front seat. We need it to have no interruptions, no kind of problems, no running into ditches, no running into other cars, no running into any mannequins that happen to be running across the road. We need it to be a perfect drive, or we just need Elon to say, you know what, you're covered. If your FSD is on, your insurance is unnecessary. Our insurance takes over. He says that. I think that's pretty much what he needs to say. But one way or the other, the world needs to be convinced that FSD is done. It works. Third parties, driving them around and doing stuff would be good too. Once it's okay to take your hands off the wheel and play games or read books or take a nap, then we would like to see videos of people doing that. Then it'll be appropriate. We've already seen people doing that, but we need to see them doing it for real. We need to see people being picked up and let off in parking lots with nobody in the car. Things like that. When that happens, I'm going to put the same number on it. Even though I think it's not nearly as valuable as Optimus, I think it'll still be like a 200 point. Probably 200 points, like almost immediately. This one might be faster than Optimus because the Optimus thing is not as obvious to the average person that's watching. But the FSD thing is pretty obvious about the immediate return on investment for that. So a couple $100 each, okay, that would mean the companies, we get the thing to, let's say $1,000 a share. That's maybe the company is worth 3 trillion. So we may not get to 3 trillion, but maybe we get to 410, 610, 810. Yeah. So maybe we got the company worth about 2+ trillion. I think that would be a minimum, because Optimus by itself and FSD and Robotaxi by itself are easily worth $1 trillion each. So not a big deal. Okay. Am I too bullish? Let me know. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me where I'm wrong. Straighten me out. Tell me what should I have added to my list, or what do you think was unnecessary? Should be able to get to 410 even if this doesn't happen. I'd love to hear all your comments below. Your comments have been great the last couple of days. I got to do a comment show because I need to bring those comments and put them out there for everybody to see. So speaking of commenting, love to have comments on Patreon too. I'm really going to start working hard on Patreon right now. That's going to be one of my big deals. I'm going to start putting up 3 or 4 stories per day, articles per day. I'm already doing it. I'm already finding them. I'm seeing the ones that I think are important, and I'm using them for the show. Why wouldn't I just throw them up on Patreon right away? So then those of you who are on Patreon can say, you don't have time to look up all this stuff. These are the 3 or 4 pieces of news per day that I think are important to send out right away, not have you wait until you watch a video later in the day, but that you'd probably like to know right now. So that's kind of the theory. Maybe that's worth $5 a month to you. Maybe it's worth $10 a month to you. But of course, in addition, you're going to get a couple of books if you want, if you're at the $10 level. As you know, you get 2 books if you join at the $10 level on audio. Get 1 book if you join at the $5 level. Or if you join at the $10 level, of course, you can get a Cybertruck in camo, or you can get it in the plain stainless steel. And then, of course, yes, I know there are new people watching. Not everybody has seen me talk about the Cybertruck bottle opener before. So you just have to give me a break here. So, it's a bottle opener. Okay. See, there's the bottle opener right there. And it is a refrigerator magnet. And it's it's amazing. It's $25 a piece. If you go on Amazon, I'm selling them on Amazon for $30. Well, $29.95. And but you can get it from me for $25. You just go below, take a look at the information in the what do you call it? The description below. And in that description, it shows you that you send the $25 to paypal.me/Ray Kirk, all in lowercase letters. And if you're doing it, if you need it to go to Canada or Australia or Germany, so any place out in the United States, add $20. Now, if you buy 5 of them, you still add only $20 total, okay? Because it's just going to cost me 1 extra $20 to send it to you. If you are wanting more than 10 of them, anywhere in the world, I don't care where you are, I'll give you a deal. You just need to get in contact with me and we'll work it out. I know a lot of people are buying more than 10 because they're giving them away as gifts. This is a good time to buy it now. Get that gift giving out, that Christmas, get Christmas list solved. Just give everybody one. Even if they don't like Tesla, give them one. Yeah. Okay, be sure to watch. You got all kinds of stuff. Coming up tonight, we've got the regular Sunday night program, which we call Monday morning because it's all about the week in advance, everything financial, everything about Tesla, all the kinds of reports that are coming out during the week. You don't want to miss that show. There was some great shows yesterday. I'll put a couple of cards up right now for the shows, or maybe I've already put them up somewhere along the way. Super good shows yesterday that got extremely, a bunch of you watched those shows and did great comments. Then we got all the regular guys. We got Larry Goldberg coming up a couple of times this week. We got Brian White for sure, probably 2 shows. We've got Brian Wong, also probably 2 shows this week because he's got a lot to talk about. LK99 is still a thing. Believe me, it's still a thing. You remember what LK99 is? I mean, it's like it's gone, right? It's off the headlines. So you want to find out what LK99 is? Make sure you've hit notify so that you're notified when Brian is on. All right, it's great. Have a great Sunday. It's been nice talking to you. If you don't mind, I do want to pitch my little device here. I have these little devices for $25. You can't believe how cool this is. Look at how thick the stainless. I mean, holy mackerel! It comes in. It comes in a camo as well. It's a can opener. I'm sorry, not a can opener, a bottle opener. So you got your bottle opener here too. And it's got a magnet on the back so you can slap it up on your fridge. Is this good or what? So anyway, you just send $25 to my PayPal account. It's down in the information below. Just click on there. You can send it 20. Now, if you're out of the country, I got to charge you an extra $20 for freight. So, or if you join my Patreon, I'll give you one at the $10 level. I'll give you one for free.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.